Hey, everybody. All right, this is now day number 3 of the challenge. This is where we're going to walk through the process of getting your Google Analytics pixel set, getting the way to track the traffic. Because you can spend all your time driving traffic, but if you don't know if that traffic is converting or you don't know the traffic that you're actually getting, then you don't know if the traffic work that you're doing is actually moving the needle and helping you. So, for day number 3 here, what we are going to be focused entirely on is installing the right pixels for Google Analytics and a few other tools that really are going to benefit you through this process. So I'm going to screen share so everybody can see what we are going to be focused on here for this next part of the session. So we're going to start with the Google Analytics pixel, and I'm going to pull up the document so everybody can follow along here. This is where we are. So this is installing the tracking on the Google side. So we're going to focus on Google Analytics 4, Google Search Console to make sure that you have it. Some of you will have this set up. Some of you may have it set up and not even know it. And then we'll focus on these two core ones. The Google tag is an optional one to set up, and it's going to help you ensure that everything is set up correctly. So we're going to focus on these two primarily, Google Analytics and Google Search Console, to get this dialed in. So let me go ahead and pull up the screen here. So Google Analytics, so everybody is aware, it's how we know if people are coming to our website and taking action. So that's the whole idea behind Google Analytics. If you don't know the traffic you're getting, it's hard to know how to improve it. So to get there, you just go to google.com/analytics, google.com/analytics. Now I'm going to go in here and I'm going to type in google.com/analytics. You go up here to, or down here to the left-hand side where it says admin. So go to the left side and you go to create. And we're going to create a new account through this process. So the new account name is going to be your business name that you're working from. So it could be your business name or it could be your website name. So I'm going to call this yourbrandcounts.com. So yourbrandcounts.com. Now it's going to ask us, Google's going to ask us some information like, am I sharing, do I want to share information with Google products and services? That's up to you. That doesn't impact what you do. These other ones do give you good insight. So I tend to keep them checked by default. You'll notice Google even tells us, it gives us the recommendations here as well. So my domain is Your Brand Counts. That's what I'm running some of my products through. So that's what I'm using here for this part of the process. So next we're going to go to next here, and I'm going to put in the property name. So I'm going to put in the Rush Protocol. Okay. So the Rush Protocol is my product so that I know that how Google Analytics is doing. So if your brand name, like let's say Stemmergen was the one of the brand names I had, if that was your company name, then you would put that in as the business name, and it could be the property name. I happen to have a different property under Your Brand Counts. I have different product lines. So I'm wanting to track this one. So that's why I'm setting it up this way. Okay. So now it already detected my time zone, which is Pacific time zone. For anybody that's using like a VPN, it is very important that you check and make sure that it's not setting it up, because you cannot often change this once your account is made. So you do need to be very sure, very certain that this is the correct country and the correct time zone for you, because otherwise the data that you're looking at is going to be completely a complete mess. So you do want to make sure that you check this, because if you are on a VPN, or maybe you're setting this up while you're traveling on vacation, you're going to be locked into that time zone. And so you're going to be very confused when you look at the data it gives you. And then the currency is very important to check because that will also benefit you. So now we're going to click on next. Okay. So now let's know a little bit about my business, and you can choose your industry category. So I'm going to say, let's say training, because that's kind of what I do. Oh, it doesn't have training. Go figure. Okay, so let's go business and industrial. That's fair. Broad categories here is what Google gives you. So now you can choose the size of your company. So I'm going to say 1 to 10. That's my size of my company. And then we're going to go down and we're going to say, what is our business objectives? Well, of course, we want to generate more leads. That's important. We do want to drive more sales. We want to understand web and traffic. Let's see. We want to see how people view and engage with our site. And I guess we could say other. I don't want to say other. Sorry. I want these ones here. Boom, 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 not other. So all these are pretty much ideal for me. If your business is just in the lead generation business, then don't put drive sales. But I like to know these things, and it is important to understand how things are happening within your business. So now you're going to choose create. So I'm going to just click create, and you're going to get the terms of service here. Now, skim through it if you must. It might take more than 15 minutes, but skim through it and then hit I accept. Now I've created a bunch of these, so I understand what I'm looking at. Now you're going to be now hit with the data collection page. So this part's very important. You have three different options here. You have web, Android app, or iOS. You're going to be tracking on a web unless on the off chance you're selling an app of some sort. That's when only time you would choose these right now. I'm going to go with web right here, and I'm going to put in my website. Now, my website is the link to the offer I'm promoting. So I will show you here, yourbrandcounts.com, the Rush Protocol. Okay. So that's my website link. This is the direct link to my product. In your case, it could be your business name, but I'm just promoting on, just promoting the Rush Protocol here. Whoops. And it does not want the HTTPS because that's already there. So did you notice that? Just want to point that out. If you run into an issue and you're wondering, that is my website link, it's not working. All you have to do is go up here and just backtrack that because the HTTPS is already up here. See that? Just very, very important. It also is important that it's checked as HTTPS so it tracks your website appropriately. Now, the stream name I'm going to put in the Rush Protocol. So that's the name of the product that I'm promoting. So the other thing it's going to ask, it's telling us what it's measuring on our page. So it's got page views, scrolls, outbound clicks. It's telling us all the things that it is actually measuring for us. So video engagement, file downloads, all the things. I prefer it to track as much as it can because the more data I get on my page, the better I can actually improve things for conversions. So I'm going to choose here, create and continue. Create and continue. All right, so now it's going to ask us to set up the Google tag. Now, keep in mind, when you set up the Google Analytics, it naturally will also set up the Google tag for you. It also is just housed inside of a Google tag. So when you see over here that I have one of the steps is to create your Google tag, it's already automatically made with the Google Analytics 4. So just keep that in mind as you go through the process. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to now copy this code. So I'm going to copy this code to a clipboard. I like to use notepads for everything that I do. So I'm going to go open here to a notepad file and I'm just going to paste this in there. So see that? So I'm just going to paste that code in there because I'm going to go to my website and I'm actually going to install this on my site, or you could send it to your website developer and have them install it for you. But at this point, you want to make sure that you have this ready to go. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop the share and I'm going to open up one of my websites and I'm going to go into one of my sites and show you where I would install this code so that I know how my site is performing. So I'm going to open this up and bear with me one moment while I get to the actual spot that I'm tracking, and we're going to go through this process. I'm using ClickFunnels. Again, whatever you're using, it might be very different. So you're just going to come in here and you're going to paste in inside your header code is where you're going to paste in your Google tag. So I usually put my Google tag at the very top of my header code. So that's where I add it in there at the very top. So if you already have code in there, you can add it in there. You could also ask your web team if they already have something added. It is an important question to ask because you don't want to double up on your Google tag. But that's how it would go. It would typically be copied and pasted into a header code, depending on the page builder you're using. Like I said, I'm using ClickFunnels. You can use whatever you're using or talk to your tech team to get that set up. It should be just a few seconds to do, though. It's a very simple process to get that going. So that is a very important step to do. So that is step number one of this process, which is create your Google Analytics account and get that set up and get that created so that you can start to drive traffic. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to screen share and show you one other thing that you want to set up. So I've got over here, I'm screen sharing, and you'll notice it's asking me to set up the Google tag. and I already installed it. So you could do test installation. It most likely won't show up here right away. So I do want to point that out. Some page builders take a few minutes to refresh, some take a few hours. It appears mine was detected correctly. So that's great. Okay. So I love it when a plan comes together. But if you don't see it as saying that, hey, this has been registered, just ignore that, come back to it. It's not the end of the world, and just hit confirm. Okay. So it is, again, it's not going to have a lot of data. It takes about 48 hours. So don't come back here and keep refreshing because it's not going to be active yet. Okay. So now you can just hit the X here. You can hit the next page. Data collection is pending because, like I said, takes up to 48 hours. So you are good to go. Okay. So now we've got this going. It actually is showing visitors to my page. So that's encouraging. So notice I've got my company name and I've got the specific product I'm promoting. In your case, it could be your company name all throughout. That's up to you and how you want to run that. Now, the next thing I talked about was something called Google Search Console. So Google Search Console is an option for adding in some additional information for your business. So Google Search Console, that allows you to see how you're ranking organically. So to do that, you actually want to just go to Google, type in the word Google Search Console, and they change their link every time I turn around. So there's not a direct link that's easy. So just go to Google Search Console and make sure you click on the US or American or English version that shows up. They have the different languages here. So click on that. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to choose Start Now right here on this page. Start Now. Now I'm going to go back over here and I've got some different properties here that we're pulling this in from. Okay, so what you can do here is you can go up here to where it says add property. Okay, so add property, which is right up here. If you have a brand new Google account, you're going to see add property here and just click on add property. Now, I'm going to plug in my URL here that I've got. So I'm going to go yourbrandcounts.com. I could just plug that in. Actually, let's go with one of my other brands. Okay, so see this, sixfigureinsider.com. So this is one of my other properties, just so everybody can see what you do to get it verified. So I've got this property. So you select your record type and it gives you the steps that you need in order to verify it. So either you can have your tech team do this or you can follow the steps to do it yourself. So you can sign in. So you get a TXT record, you sign into your domain provider, and you're going to add this into the DNS records for your business. And that will help you get verified as far as what you're doing and what you're selling. So I'm going to try to do this real quick and demonstrate this for you. And if this is something you need to push to the next day because you're pushing the 15 minutes or whatever the case is, then by all means you could do that. So let me log into my account though real quick. So I'm going to log into my account where I believe this domain is hosted, and I'll just demonstrate for you what it looks like. So what you're doing here is it gives you an idea within Google Search Console how many people visit your website. It tells you information that's really important so that you can know what I can do to make my site rank higher. There's all sorts of other things that you can do inside of there. So sure enough, Six Figure Insider is registered. So that's good. So I'm going to screen share this right now and show you what I'm talking about to make it live. So inside of here, you've got an option. It's called the DNS. And once again, don't get stuck here. If you have somebody that's your tech person, have them do this. Don't get yourself, locked in a room or, in a rubber room trying to do all this because it's a lot. So, but I'm going to guide you through it. So if you're doing it yourself, great. So you can grab this text here. We're creating what's called a TXT record. I'm going to copy this into the TXT record. Okay, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go to add DNS record. And again, remember it said TXT record. The name is going to be at, that's for your domain. And then you're going to put in the text record and then hit the word submit. Okay, so that's all I have to do. I just have to follow that step. And again, if you don't want to do that on your own, have your tech person do it. And then you'll choose verify. And again, it may not verify right away. See, you're going to see this. I'm glad this happened because this will happen for you. And it's okay if this happens for you. It just means give it an hour, give it 30 minutes. Sometimes, depending on how fast you move the DNS, it could take up to a few hours for Google Search Console to verify it. And that's completely normal. If you go a full day or 2 days and it still says verification failed, then you might need to assess the situation a little more. But Google Analytics, you can also just click verify later. But Google Analytics will do a lot of really good things for you. And it'll tell you things like, how much traffic you're getting and all those types of things, so that you know how your brand is being discovered online. Now, I don't do a lot with search for this particular website, but I'm going to start doing more with this particular website because my pages aren't indexable right now, and so that's something I want to fix. But you can go through any of these and you can look through. These are some of my clients. I don't want to show all that data, but it will give you a lot of good information as far as how many visitors you're getting, how long they're staying. There's a lot of really good intel that you get access to once you're inside Google Search Console. So what that does is help you understand, as you get more organic reach, is your page being indexed? And I'll demonstrate that for you on future lessons.